Hi everyone, it's James here from Full Fat 4x4. It's an interesting day today. I've got a Autobiography Black Edition in stock. So this came in on Wednesday. It's quite an interesting car. It was one of only 700 made in the world and one of 100 for the UK market. So definitely quite a unique car. As you can probably see behind me, quite a unique colour scheme. So watch this space for the video walk around that's coming soon. When this car came in, it was pretty obvious that the oil cooler was leaking. So today I'm just going to quickly show you what the oil cooler that I've taken off looks like and why that leaks. So yeah, hope you find this interesting. So after lots of faffing around, the oil cooler is now off the car and it's on the workbench. So yeah, this is what it looks like. This is an original oil cooler. The OEM for this part was a company called Man Hummel. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but that's the OEM. I think they were made in Mexico because the 4.4 TDV8 is actually a Ford engine that was made in the Ford Mexico plant. So this is a two-part cast aluminium component. So that is the heat exchanger, and there is a seal or a gasket that goes between the main housing and the heat exchanger. Over time, the engine gets hot and the seal basically perishes, and it causes a pathway from the oil channels through to the bottom of the housing, and you get that leak. So this is quite a bad example of the leak, and you can really see that, you know, there's been some quite ingrained, you know, oil coming through from that gasket, and then also around the back you could see that there's an oil channel there. There is also another pathway for a leak, and this is from the oil gallery. So basically there's two O-rings that sit on the oil cool feed, which I'll show you in a second. And again, over time, they just become flattened and rounded. So generally I replace these with Vitron rather than just a rubber. So I'll stick a link below just in terms of what I use. The job itself is not too difficult, and I'll kind of just show you on the car in a second. But you can definitely see here how the gasket has basically flattened off, and that basically is totally flat there. So there was clearly a pathway for oil coming from there and leaking out. So yeah, it's good that we've got this replaced. And you can also see here, yeah, you can see where the gasket has started to perish. So this is the area where the coolant comes into the housing, and so again that's flattened. And so when you hear about either oil contamination into the coolant or coolant contamination into the engine oil, that is the pathway where it comes from. And it's more common that you end up with oil into the coolant, and so sometimes on the 4.4, when you're looking at the coolant housing, sorry, not the coolant housing, the expansion tank, if you sometimes see a thin layer of film of oil in there, like probably 99 times out of 100, it's going to be that which is causing it. So the solution is a replacement oil cooler housing. So yeah, that's not a particularly expensive part. I have bought a Nissan's replacement, which I'll show you on the car. So they're about 150 quid. I would definitely recommend buying a good brand. So Nissan's is a respected brand, you know, OEM quality. Don't be fooled by the cheap, you know, knockoff 100 quid ones that you see on eBay. So that is the oil cooler now in place. The new one, it's a bit of a faff to replace, but it's definitely within the realms of, you know, a competent DIY mechanic. And then just to very quickly show you, this is the oil feed, and you can see I've just put some fresh O-rings on there, and you can see how like they sit nice and proud to provide the seal, and that goes into the back of the new oil cooler there. So yeah, that's a good job done on this car, and will prevent further oil leaks. Additionally, one to look out for if you are planning on tackling this job is this component here. This is the coolant outlet, or maybe it's the inlet, but inside this component is a rubber O-ring, which again can perish, and that will cause a coolant leak basically up the top of the V and then back down. So yeah, if you're doing this job, it's probably worth ordering the this replacement hose and T-section. It's not expensive, 30 quid. And then you've got both the oil cooler and that part to replace. So again, I'll pop a link to the part in the description below. So I hope you found that informative. I really believe in demystifying these cars. You know, they have a reputation for being quite complicated, which is true, but once you break everything down and you kind of assess each of the systems within the car, they are actually quite understandable. So yeah, hope you find that useful. As I say, there's some links in the description below just for the parts that I've used on this particular job. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you've tackled this job or others like it and how you've got on. Okay, cheers guys.